What's up again, everybody? I'm Clayton. Welcome back to Ages of Film, and today I'm reviewing Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, released in 1987 and directed by Sidney J. Furie. While you're here, everybody, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and join the pack. Get in on all the fun. So I'm currently going through all the Superman movies leading up to the new Superman film coming out in July, directed by James Gunn. It's kicking off the whole new DC universe and film. So yeah, leading up to that film, I thought I'd go in and review all the Superman movies. So done the first three. That brings us to Superman 4. So you guys can go check out those in the archives if you haven't already. We'll go from positives to negatives like always. But before I get into the review, just a quick reminder, guys, this is just my opinion on this movie. There's no need to be upset or offended by anything I have to say. Let me know your opinion of Superman 4 in the comment section. All I ask that you be respectful. And with that being said, let's get rocking. So, Superman 4, look, man, these last two Superman movies, with Christopher Reeve as Superman were, they were very disappointing, especially from where the franchise started with especially the original Superman movie, and then even the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, a very good film, so you had the first two really good films, and then it drops off significantly when you get to Superman 3, which was just, POS. And then, Superman 4 isn't a whole lot better. It's not a whole lot worse, quite frankly. You can't get much worse than Superman 3. But yeah, I remember liking this movie. I didn't love it, but I liked it more than I do now as a kid. I remember watching this as a kid with my dad and somewhat liking it. I mean, even then I wasn't crazy about it, but it was tolerable. I mean, I was like, okay, it's a Superman movie. It's Christopher Reeve. I can get into it. Watching it back for this review, I knew what was coming, but it still, it doesn't hold up well to the trained eye, but let's go ahead and get into the positives here. There are still some things I do like with Superman 4. One of them being Christopher Reeve, again, is a standout for me as Superman. I've said it in each of these reviews so far. He is my definitive Superman. He will always be my Superman. He's who I think of when I think of Superman. A large part of that is the nostalgia that I have with Christopher Reeve and with these original Superman movies. But another part of that is just the way that he plays the character. I think he gives a very true and authentic performance as Clark and as Superman. He makes those two identities very different from each other, and he embodies both of them very well. So I love what he does with the character, and he again carries that over into this film. I think he actually gives a little bit better of a performance in this one than he did in Superman 3. That might partially be due to the directing, I don't know, but I do think it's a little bit stronger and on point from where it was in Superman 3. He's a positive for me, so that definitely is something that helps the film out, is when you give me, in my opinion, the best Superman so far, and have him be Superman in the film. I also really liked Gene Hackman. They brought Gene Hackman back in this film to play Lex Luthor again, which I really liked. I thought he definitely was missed in Superman 3. Not having him in Superman 3 hurt the film, and really they could have, because the villain in Superman 3 was just a Lex Luthor ripoff. I mean, he was Lex Luthor light. He was a B version of Lex Luthor. So if you're going to have a character that's very, very similar to Lex Luthor, just make it Lex Luthor. Just bring Gene Hackman back. Make it Lex Luthor. because Gene Hackman is a lot better actor than the guy that played whatever his name was in Superman 3. And the character of Lex Luthor is much more interesting and engaging. So having Luthor in this one, Gene Hackman coming back, that definitely raises the enjoyment for me. I love Gene Hackman as an actor, and Lex Luthor as a character, as a villain, is much more engaging and a better villain than what we got in Superman 3. So that, is working in Superman 4's favor. Margot Kidder, she definitely has a much bigger role in this film than she had in Superman 3. She's only in like 2 scenes in Superman 3. So I like that they bring that original cast back in this film. Because I liked that original cast. I enjoyed the performances. I liked the characters. So bringing them back here helps this film out quite a bit for me. So those are positives. The score, again, that iconic Superman score is a score that I love. It's one of my favorite movie scores. It hits the emotional effect that it has, that it generates, lands with me every single time. It gets me amped every time I hear it. I love it, and it makes me want to watch a Superman movie. It makes me feel like I can fly, and I love that original Superman score so much. So again, I could just listen to that score for an hour and a half, and it would help the film out quite a bit. So the score definitely helps. I also liked that the plot in this film is much more significant than the plot we had in Superman 3. There wasn't really, to me, a threat level in Superman 3 that felt felt significant at all. I didn't really feel any type of threat for Superman in Superman 3. Here they actually have a legit threat. With Nuclear Man, you feel the threat that he poses to Superman. You feel, based on what you see, what you know of the character, this is a guy that could actually do some damage to Clark, to Superman. So it raises the stakes. It raises that threat level when you have a villain, when you have a threat that is believable, where you feel that antithesis. You feel the threat that they present to the main protagonist. And I got that in Superman 4 that was missing in Superman 3. So I don't like everything with Nuclear Man, everything that they did, but as far as being a threat to our main protagonist, I do think it worked. I felt that threat level in this film. So that is a positive for me. I also liked that they did actually have at least a story here. They were trying to say something with the story. This was, obviously during the 80s, Cold War, the tensions with Russia and the US, they were trying to make a political type of statement, but for the time, it was something that, quite frankly, a lot of films and a lot of media outlets were doing. The Dark Knight Returns, right here, my favorite graphic novel of all time. A large part of that has to do with political tensions with Russia and America. So it was something that was discussed quite a bit in the 80s in film and comics and movies and television, in news outlets. That was the thing. So however you may feel about it, that's subjective, but at least there is a coherent story in the film that you can kind of follow along and navigate through. And that is something that I appreciated with Superman 4, because again, I didn't feel like I really got that in Superman 3. Here, there is at least something that they're trying to say, and I can appreciate that. I also liked that this one, in my opinion, had the cleanest ending of all 4 of these original Superman movies. And it's kind of ironic that it happens to be in the last of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, and one that's not a very good film, it's the one that has the best ending, in my opinion. It has the cleanest, clearest ending. You know, the ending in Superman 1 and Superman 2, very messy. The ending in Superman 3 is just like weird and just it isn't really a clean ending. Here, things are tied off. The plot is settled. The plot's resolved. You have a clean, clear-cut ending to Superman 4. And that is something that I do appreciate, having watched the first 3 for this review series. That's something that I can at least credit Superman 4 for. So that's about all I have for the positives, Superman 4. So we'll go into the negatives here. Visual effects. Yeah. Not very good. Visual effects were pretty rough. They didn't look very good in Superman 3. They don't look very good here in Superman 4. A lot of bad animation, a lot of bad effects works with green screens, and just, yeah, even for the time, I mean, 1987, I think I mentioned this in Superman 3. The effects works done in the original Superman movie in 1978 look better than the visual effects done in Superman 3 in the 80s, or in Superman 4 in the late 80s. So it's not even a byproduct at the time. You can't just say, well, it's because it was the 80s. No, because the visual effects in the 70s that were in the original Superman look a lot better than the effects work in Superman 4. So it's not just, it's, the time or whatever. It's not an excuse. There are plenty of movies that came out way before Superman 4 that utilize visual effects and make it look a lot better than the effects work in Superman 4. So it's bad visual effects. It's bad visual effects in this film. That's a big negative. The editing. Really bad editing in this film, must be said. Some cuts from one scene to other scenes, just they don't mesh well. They're very subtle cuts. There's a number of scenes where they don't let the scene sit. Like part of the job of the film editor is to bring out the most emotional effect from each scene. So as the editor, you want to let the scene hang as long as the effect is there, the emotional effect is there. You don't want to cut prematurely, but you also don't want to let a scene drag longer than it needs to. A good editor knows when to cut a scene and how to synchronize the scenes. And in Superman 4, it's really bad editing because there's a number of scenes that the editor just doesn't let hang long enough. They're cut prematurely, and then the synchronicity of the shots are not very well edited together. So really bad editing. Final product as a whole, again, doesn't work, and it definitely brings the film down for me in my viewing experience with the movie. The bad editing affects my enjoyment of the film. So that's why I'm mentioning it as a negative, because if something doesn't bother me in the film, I won't mention it. I only mention things that stand out, that affect my viewing experience in all my reviews. If I mention it, it either has a positive effect on my viewing experience or a negative effect on my viewing experience. If I don't mention it, then it didn't really do much one way or the other for me. But the editing, really bad. So that was definitely a negative for me. Also, there's a number of side plots in this film that they never really do much with. They probably could have been removed and it wouldn't have changed a whole lot with the film. You had the subplot with Perry White and, the Daily Planet and all the business side of that stuff going on. I didn't really care about it. It wasn't a plot that I was invested in. I didn't really care how that was going to get resolved. They didn't really do a whole lot with it. It did bring in Lacey, the character Lacey, into the film, which again, I don't really feel like she was needed. Like they completely abandoned the stuff with Lana Lang from Superman 3. They never even mentioned what happened with her and Clark in this film. And then they bring in this other female character, Lacey, and try to build a romance with her and Clark while trying to expand the romance between Lois and Superman. And it's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm not invested. They had this weird dinner scene where Lacey is supposed to be having dinner with Clark, and Lois is supposed to be having dinner with Superman at the same time and in the same place. And you have Clark having to go from Clark to Superman, from Superman to Clark, and it's just like, why is this here? Like, what's the purpose of this? We don't need this. This is just filler. You're not doing anything with it. We've already explored the romance with Superman and Lois. They've already agreed for some reason that we're never told they can't be together. And here you're not explaining why all of a sudden they could be together. You have a scene where Clark walks Lois out to a balcony and then just jumps off the balcony with her so he could turn into Superman just to hang out with Lois. And it's like rehashing their relationship from the first Superman movie, but they don't do anything with it. It's weird. It's just this weird subplot thing with Superman and Lois and with Clark and Lacey. None of it really gets paid off. None of it really serves a purpose here or does anything for the characters. It's bad. It's bad writing, bad script writing, and wasn't really needed. I also wasn't a fan of Lex's motives in this film. Lex Luthor, obviously, he escapes from prison. He comes out. He's this is a personal vendetta now that he has against Superman. He wants to destroy him. He creates Nuclear Man. There's some issues in how that worked out as well. But the motives here. So Lex does this business deal with the company to get access to nuclear arms so he can make Nuclear Man. But his bargaining deal is he wants a lot of money. But it's like, dude, you're Lex Luthor. You're like already a multi-billionaire. Like there's no reason that Lex should just be wanting millions of dollars for this project. Like he has all the money in the world. He has, this is a guy who is one of the richest, wealthiest characters in the DC universe. So they're like, even $1 billion to Lex Luthor is pocket change. That's how rich that character is. That's how wealthy that character is. There's absolutely like money. It should be literally a non-factor for Lex Luthor as far as the bargaining deal. That should not be. He should never have a motive to bargain for money because he literally has all the money that he could ever want or need. So to me, that was like, that didn't make any sense. It's inconsistent with who that character is. And it's like, I just don't buy that Luthor's bargaining deal, like what he wants out of the bargain with this arms manufacturer is, oh, I just want a lot of money. Really? Like, dude, you're like one of the richest people on the planet, So yeah, to me, again, that was a little weak. And then Nuclear Man's weakness, just when he's not exposed to the sun, he just becomes, he just frozen, like he completely helpless. That just seemed a little weak for a weakness, because when they're fighting on the moon, he's not exposed to the sun, and yet he's still fighting Superman there. And then you have the scene where Nuclear Man kidnaps Lacey, and he like flies her out to space, and she's still just kicking around. It's like, why is she not dead? She should be dead. She's literally in space right now with Nuclear Man. Hello. There's no oxygen in space. Human beings need oxygen to live. So this lady should be dead right now. Flying that fast into space, that would have killed her. And then being in space without any oxygen, that should kill her. And yet she's just, kicking around, waiting for Superman to come grab her and save her. It's like, no, you should be dead right now. So yeah, Superman 4 is a train wreck. It has some good stuff going for it. It's just bad execution. It's just bad execution of a number of different things. There's a lot of conveniences, plot conveniences in this film. Superman just showing up in certain places conveniently. He's just there. And yeah, a lot of that stuff. Superman gets new powers. Like there's a scene where Nuclear Man like destroys this giant stone wall somewhere. It may have been the Great Wall of China. I don't know. But he destroys this huge stone wall somewhere. And as Superman all of a sudden uses this new power that we've never even seen him use, where he just like zaps these laser beams from his eyes and puts the wall back together. It's like, what? Where did this come from? Like Superman has never had this power before. Why is he just now using it here? Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. There's no excuse. It's just, it's bad. It's messy, bad editing, bad visual effects, bad script writing, some poor dialogue in the film. Yeah, it's a train wreck. Overall, though, I do like Superman 4 better than I like Superman 3, which isn't saying a lot because I really don't like Superman 3. But my overall rating for Superman 4, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. So still not a good film. It's not good. It's not a good film. It's a bad film, but it has more things going for it that I enjoy. It has more in it to give me a positive experience than Superman 3 did. You know, having Christopher Reeve, having Gene Hackman, having that original cast in here, having, you know, all the stuff I covered in the positives. It has a little more going for it than Superman 3 did. So I prefer this to Superman 3. Both are bad films, negative review. But there you go. 2 out of 5 for Superman 4. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with my rating? Do you disagree? Let me know anything and everything in the comment section. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, until next time, kick it and rock on.